Hello mga kapingga, welcome back muli dito sa ating channel. Kung ikaw ay bago lang sa aking channel, huwag kalimutang pindutin ang subscribe button at pati na rin yung notification bell para ma-update kita sa mga susunod ko pang video. Ano ang iyong gagawin kapag nakakita ka ng tao na bumagsak at nawala ng malay at halos hindi na humihinga? Of course, tatawag ka sa mga emergency team sa 911. Subalit alam mo ba na kapag maisagawa mo ang chest compression or CPR na walang mouth-to-mouth breathing, ay mas doble ang tsansa na mai-survive mo ang pasyente. Madali mong masimulan ang chest compression CPR dahil ito'y madaling pag-aralan, madaling gawin, at mas epektibong pamamaraan kumpara doon sa traditional CPR na nangangailangan sa pagsagip ng hininga. Hindi mo na kailangan pa na maging certified upang isagawa ang ganitong life-saving technique. Para sa bidyong ito, ating tatalakayin at ibabahagi ang chest compression CPR.
Our heart is an amazing organ. It works hard for us every second of every day, delivering blood and oxygen to every cell in our body. But when sudden cardiac arrest strikes, our heart suddenly and unexpectedly stops beating effectively and blood flow stops. Without any intervention, the brain, vital organs, and our heart will begin to die. Beginning CPR is the person's only chance of survival. Brain damage will start to set in within 4 minutes, and after 10 minutes, brain damage becomes irreversible. The power to save a life is truly in your hands. Per begin compressions, you are creating an artificial pump and doing the work of the heart manually. With each good, effective compression, you are building up pressure in the system, which will move blood around the heart and up to the brain. It does take time to get the blood moving with CPR, so it is very important to push hard and push fast to build the pressure up, which keeps blood going to the brain. Pushing down at least 2 inches allows for the heart to be squeezed and blood to move out. Pushing at a rate of 100 to 120 compressions per minute is necessary to keep blood pumping. Let's see what happens when we take our hands off the chest. Blood stops moving to the brain. It is for this reason that if you are taking your hands off the chest to deliver breaths or switching roles, it is critical to minimize time off the chest. Watch what happens when we don't push deep enough. Blood does not reach the brain. The same is true if we do not push fast enough. Watch what happens when we push too fast. The heart does not have time to refill with blood, therefore not enough blood gets pumped out. Watch what happens when we don't allow the body to decompress and allow the chest to fully recoil. The heart does not have a chance to refill with blood, therefore no blood gets pumped out. So remember, the key purpose of delivering compressions is to keep oxygenated blood moving within the heart and up to the brain to keep the brain alive. We need to push hard and push fast in the center of the chest. If ribs break, that's okay. What's not okay is allowing the brain to die from a lack of oxygen. So remember, you are their only hope. Do the best you can, and don't give up until medical help arrives or an AED is present. You can do it.
If you witness someone collapse from sudden cardiac arrest, taking prompt action could save their life by following these simple steps. First, place the person on his back on a hard surface. Check for responsiveness by shaking and shouting at the person or rubbing their chest bone hard with your knuckles. The person's clothing is not removed.
Aim for the center of the chest, usually right between the nipples. You put the heel of one hand there, you put the heel of the other hand on top of there, and you lock your elbows. And the reason for that is that no one is strong enough to do 100 compressions a minute. And then you put your shoulders immediately over the center of the chest and you fall. compressing it about 2 inches.
It's important that the hands are lifted from the chest after each compression.
That's because the recoil of the chest, that causes a little vacuum in the chest, causes air to go in and blood to come back.
It's also important to pump on the chest fast at a rate of 100 times per minute. An easy way to maintain that beat is to think of a disco song like Staying Alive by the Bee Gees.
It turns out that if you try to do 100 times a minute, even if you're not perfect, you have the best chance of getting the most flow. It is a jab, 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 rapid pumping action to move that blood forward to the brain.
Dr. explained with continuous chest compression CPR, you don't check for a pulse, clear the airway, or do mouth-to-mouth breathing. All you do is pump on the chest.
In cardiac arrest, the heart is actually fibrillating and not pumping any blood forward at all. So it's only when you press on the chest that you're squeezing the heart and making a heartbeat. So your chest compression, each chest compression, is their heartbeat. And if you stop for anything, blood flow to the brain stops.
These chest compressions should be performed even if the victim is gasping.
Gasping is a sign of cardiac arrest. And we have so many people that tell us, oh, my husband was snoring last night, woke up this morning and he was gone. So that gasping is critically important. It's been reported to occur in 55% of cardiac arrests.
And don't worry, this pumping action won't hurt the victim.
They're dying. They're soon to be dead. And no matter what you do, you can't make them worse.
Better to break a rib than to let somebody die. I think they'll all be sore, but they'll be happy to shake your hand and thank you.
Studies show continuous chest compression CPR is more effective than traditional CPR for individuals who suffer sudden cardiac arrest. Dr. Kern explains why.
I think there's really two major reasons. First is that more people will do it. It's simpler, it's easier to remember, and frankly, it's not so intimidating. And attempting the mouth-to-mouth breathing is not without its own cost. Most lay people, in seriousness, cannot get the breaths in anyway. If it's an adult who collapses by primary ventricular fibrillation, they typically have enough oxygen already in their body. It's a matter of circulating that oxygen to the tissues that need it. Most importantly, the brain and the heart, so you can respond to treatment.
Kaya lubang mapanganib na ihinto o ipatigil ang pagbumba sa dibdib habang hindi pa dumarating mga paramedic sa lugar. Iyon ay nakakapagod kaya kailangan mayroong isang tao na salitan na papalit sa iyo, hahalili upang hindi ka mapagod ng gusto sa kakapam sa dibdib habang hindi pa talaga dumarating ang mga medical assistance.